We are being systematically poisoned. And it's not just happening in the US. This is a global operation unfolding anywhere the globalists have sunk their claws. The pattern is clear. Wherever they hold power, the skies turn toxic, and the slow calculated genocide continues. In 1960s Britain, the government carried out secret atmospheric biological tests on its own citizens, never fully admitting why or what the true consequences were.
50 years ago, secret biological warfare trials were carried out in the skies and on the streets of East Anglia without the public knowing. So alarming are our discoveries that tonight's programme is an Inside Out special. Were 3 deaths from cancer in this woman's family the result of spraying cadmium from military aircraft?
I really put it down to the cadmium being dropped and it was settled into the soil.
It was top secret. It mustn't be told to the people what was happening. I think it does matter, in terms of the health of people, that they know that this is being inflicted on them.
The Ministry of Defence have consistently said there was no significant health risk as a result of the experiments.
I used to work in the cancer field, and I always knew that cadmium, was a deposit in your body that you oughtn't to have. Why they chose cadmium, why they did the whole test, is a mystery to me.
As Rockefeller was laying the foundations of Big Pharma, trapping the public in a cycle of pills and potions that are not designed to cure, they were also quietly testing chemtrail technology, spraying unsuspecting American communities without their knowledge or consent. This is a smoke curtain trailing from an aeroplane in 1923. Part of a covert test conducted by the US Navy and Air Force. The thick plume wasn't just for show, it was laced with highly corrosive compounds, including titanium dioxide and aerosolized hydrochloric acid, chemical agents designed for use against enemies. And for anybody still clinging to the belief that the toxic fog we see today is just a coincidence, that the government would never spray its own citizens with harmful chemicals, it's time for a history lesson. And not the sanitized version you get from your woke liberal college. I'm talking about real history, the kind the elite scrub from textbooks and work overtime to bury. Take Operation Sea Spray in the 1950s. The US Navy unleashed a secret bioweapon test over the San Francisco Bay, exposing an entire city to airborne bacteria, all without their knowledge or consent. The result? A spike in mysterious illnesses, hospitalizations, and death. Yet to this day, the government refuses to take any responsibility.
He authorized Sidney Gottlieb to spray germs into the fog in San Francisco harbor. The point was to try to infect 800,000 people in San Francisco with this germ just to see how many would get sick. And they thought that the germ would sit heavily in the fog and would linger in the air longer that way to infect more people. Now remember, nobody knew that this was happening. And I don't mean just nobody in San Francisco. I mean nobody. The CIA director didn't know it was happening. The president didn't know it was happening. This was Alan Dulles and Dr. Sidney Gottlieb. So what happened? They spray this poison into the air, and 11 people got identical urinary tract infections within the next 3 days. Now, we know that these were specific to the germ because these urinary tract infections included bleeding, but with blood that had crystals in it. Doctors were so taken aback by the fact that this wasn't just a urinary tract infection, but these people were discharging crystals from their bodies that they actually got together in doctors' groups and talked about it. That what in the world is this? Is this some kind of a new disease? And then like magic, it just went away. And it went away because it was just a CIA experiment. In 1951, Alan Dulles becomes the director of the CIA, just like he planned to.
They're suppressing our immune systems, flooding our bodies with heavy metals that render antibiotics useless. They're slipping chemicals into commercial jet fuel, ensuring that every flight contributes to their long-term plan. But here's the thing. The elite never do anything without first conditioning the public to accept it. It's called predictive programming. They seed the truth in plain sight, disguising it as fiction, so that when it finally happens, people dismiss it as a coincidence or conspiracy. It's a psychological trick, a way to manipulate the masses into compliance. And here's the proof. Toxic Skies, a Hollywood film that lays it all out, right down to the government-engineered outbreaks and the aerosolized poisons. And let's not forget, the lead actress, Anne Heche, met a sudden and suspicious end not long after. Coincidence? Or just another loose end tied up by those who control the narrative? The battle for our skies and our survival is not just something to watch unfold, it's something that we must fight. For the first time in history, we have an administration that's saying the right things about the crime of chemtrails. But they need to be pressured to carry through with their promises. Start by documenting everything. Take photos and videos of suspicious trails, track flight paths, and share your findings below this video. Educate your community, because awareness is our first line of defense. Demand transparency from officials, confront local representatives, and push for independent air quality testing. And grow your own food to avoid contaminated soil and water as much as possible. The elite are pushing to ban homegrown food, which is exactly why you should be growing your own. More importantly, don't stay silent. The elite count on secrecy and compliance. Expose them. Organize. Speak out. This is a war for our future, and every voice matters. Here at The People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the crimes of the elite, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel, spread this video far and wide, and join the People's Voice Locals community for exclusive and uncensored content. I hope to see you there. Today's video is brought to you by IPv6ers.